what we're going to look at is just what we did in this activity. Do y'all feel good with the little placards we did? We understand what's going on? So let me go back and touch it one more time. This area is going to be called the Age of Jackson, because who do you think is going to be really upset about the election of 1824? And he's going to campaign every day since then. We're going to see that we're going to get a two-party system. Essentially, in this election, when we're running it the first time, how many parties do we have? One. And we see that regionalism will play in, and we're going to have the new parties develop. So this election actually had 4 candidates. Who got the most votes? Jackson. Who had the second most votes? Adams. Who had the third most votes? And who had the fourth most votes? Clay. And when we look at this, each one's from a different section. What was Andrew Jackson representing? The West. What was Adams representing? North. Clay. West. Crawford. And so this election demonstrates sectionalism because they each had their own candidate, but we know that they have one party. When we looked at the votes, no one got over half of the votes because we calculated this earlier. We said that there was about 261 votes. We divided that by half. That should have given us 230 for half, right? Plus 131.5. Anybody get 130.1.5? No. So the election goes where? To the House, and they only choose from how many candidates? 3. Top 3. So it's Jackson, Adams, Crawford, and Clay. What is inconvenient for Crawford? He doesn't die. He has a what? Stroke. So the election is between what 2 people? Adams, but who gets to control it? Clay, because he's the Speaker of the House. So we know this election is between these 2 guys because Crawford had an inopportune stroke. And so this corrupt bargain goes that the Speaker of the House, he gets to persuade the people. Who should they vote for? And we know Clay wants to promote who? Adams, because what 2 characteristics do we know about Adams? He's aloof. So does he have any of the arts of a politician? No. And if he proposes an unpopular guy, what is he hoping to get in his future? The presidency. And so this is when they're going to do the corrupt bargain. And the corrupt bargain is when Adams is going to say, and Clay are going to meet, right? They're going to meet, and they're going to negotiate this. Adams will win the election. Should he have won? No. Adams will win, and what will Clay get? Secretary of State. This is considered the corrupt bargain. Do you think Clay is ever going to win the presidency? No, because who is going to get so upset? Jackson. And Jackson is going to make sure everybody knows about this corrupt bargain. And so what will occur? Adams will become president. And I know it says, why was Adams unpopular as president? First, he failed to build party support. He failed to bring in people who were from what? The North. He failed to do that. So do you think people want to re-elect him? No. We're going to look at his next issues. Also, he's what? What is that word again? Aloof. So people go to him and ask for advice, and do you think he even acknowledges them? Okay, so the next question on number 9. How did the South feel about his programs? Adams is going to come in and put roads and canals. Does the South like roads and canals? Why not? They don't what? Do they get them? No. So are they going to have to pay for these roads and canals? Yes. The next thing, a national university. How many farmers need to go to a university? Not many, but are they going to have to pay for it? And then an astronomical observatory. Do you think farmers need to go to an observatory? No. Where do you think all of this stuff's going to be? Is it going to be in the South or is it going to be in the North? So do you think the South likes his programs? No. And what are they going to fear? They're going to fear that if the government's able to put these high tariffs over their objection, they may pursue slavery and possibly do what to it? Abolish it. Have they just jumped from one idea to another idea? And they're very fearful Because Adams is putting programs that do they benefit them? They're running at their expense. So, who do you think the South's going to be? Are they going to be Whigs or are they going to be Democrats? Democrats. What do you think the North's going to be? Whigs. Now we had a momentary lapse of when we don't have parties, but this election creates our two modern parties. So y'all got 1 and 2, which is 8 and 9. We're going to see the West did not like Adams either. Adams is going to treat the Indians very fairly. Okay? And he's going to let them have their land because they have a contract to that land. What can't we do to contracts? Impair them. He says, no, they have contract. We are going to deal with them fairly. Is Adams popular with the West? Is he popular with the South? No. And so when we see the next election of 1828, do you think Jackson has been campaigning? Yes. And we're going to see Jackson has been campaigning for 4 years, saying that he's been cheated by the corrupt bargain. In the corrupt bargain, who got the presidency? Adams, who got the Secretary of State. And he says these people have cheated. We now have parties. And what we're going to see, I'll talk about 10 and 11 in a second, is that it's going to change at this time, politics. Politics is going to be about mudslinging. And we just seen mudslinging in the Kavanaugh stuff, right? All this dirt was coming up. And that's the same thing here, dirt. That's what mudslinging means. So what's going to happen? Jackson's going to get dirt on Adams. That Adams, for the Tsar of Russia, brought in ladies of the night. He had pool tables. All this scandalous stuff. Well then, Jackson has his own dirt, and it deals with his wife. We don't have time to do this reading. But his wife, Rachel, used to be married prior to him. She was married to a man who was abusive. So what should that lady do? What should she do? He's abusive. Divorce. But is it hard for females to get a divorce? Yes. She files for a divorce because another person sees the abuse. It goes to the court. Can she get a divorce by herself? No. It requires that the man also signs. She thinks it's going to be done. He never signs. She marries Jackson. What is she now? She's illegally married, but she's married to how many people? Two. Her husband who beats her, right? She wanted a divorce, and now she's married also to what? Jackson. The Adams campaign gets a hold of this. They called her an adulterer. They called him his adulteress. She is so weak of heart that they keep on trashing her name the whole campaign. How dare she let this? That was all her. That was all her fault. Throwing it in her face. I know this sounds like the Kavanaugh stuff that was going on. They blame it on her. Do they ever blame it on the man? No. And so Rachel can't take this. Her heart fails and she dies. Yes. I'm sorry. We would have read the whole thing and you would have cried at the end, but I just given you the little Spark Note version. So now Jackson, how does he feel in this campaign? He's sad, but do you think he's going to sit there, boo-hoo, I'm sad, my wife has died? No, he's going to get what? Revenge. Angry, revenge. And who does he want to take it out on? And he is going to campaign so hard because he has just lost his wife because of all the mudslinging. So what does this tell us? Jackson, is he violent? Yeah, it's one of the characteristics we'll get to. And so we're going to see, amidst all this monk, what areas do you think is going to vote for Jackson? West and South, and also in New England, the workers. They're going to vote for him. So this election, I want us to look at a picture. This is Washington's election. What are some words that we could use to describe this election? Organized. What else do we see? Military, right? It's very formal, pomp and circumstance. We see a band. We see the military there. Okay. Let's look. Do you think Jackson's is going to be the same? No. Here's Jackson's. That's a nice house. There's a lot. This is the White House. It has just got rebuilt because it's been burned down in the War of 1812. Do we see the same people? Do we see any formal dignitaries? Do we see a band? Do we see the military? Who do we see who's here? Commoners, the mobocracy. They have come to support Jackson. Dolly Madison is freaking out in the White House because what do you think these people want to do? Do they just want to stay out here? They want to go in. Dolly Madison is like taking Washington's portrait. She's like getting the silverware. Take this stuff out because what does she fear the mob is going to do? And then one of her assistants says, look, this is what we're going to do to prevent them from coming in. Just go put a keg of beer out there, put some spike juice, and they had the first kegger at the White House. Because they feared, is our politics moving from the rich to the, what was supposed to safeguard us from that? The Electoral College. And now people, who do you think, what party do you think these people are from? And we're going to see this schism between politics based on wealth. So Jackson, it's considered a revolution because he's the first president from the West. And in the West, are there very rich people or are there very common men? Common men. So he's seen as a common man president. We see expanding electorate. So this is what goes into question 11. An expanding electorate. There are more white males. Are they privileged or are they common? Common. We see open political conventions. It used to be that our presidents were selected by the very rich. But now these political conventions move those caucuses, move those rich cliques out, and the people get to choose. So y'all probably saw 2 years ago when Donald Trump got elected by the Republicans at their political convention. And Hillary got elected by the Democrats at their political convention. It wasn't some rich people deciding it. It was the party who got to decide it. Okay? That's why it's considered a revolution. We also see politicians had to capture support by appealing to the emotions of the people. Did people latch on to this mudslinging? Yes. Did they want to know more about Adams? Did they want to know more about Jackson's dirt? And don't we see this every single time someone runs in politics? That they try to bring up the dirt of the other guy? And it's this selection that brings up, let's bring out everybody's closets, their skeletons. One of our questions says, what is the purpose of the spoil system? It is used to appoint people, not based on merit, intelligence, but on common sense. Whoever helped you got there. You give jobs to your friends. Do you think they're the most qualified? So what's happening to our government? Is it going to be the most efficient? No, our government is going to go to shambles at this time because of the spoils system. The purpose is you pay. So like I think about, and I'm just going to use her name, when Trump appointed Betsy DeVos, was she the most educated on educational policy? No, but did she donate a lot of money to his campaign? Yes, and so she bought into, she paid for her favor, right? Which was what? Political campaign contribution. Okay. So Jackson's usage, what do you think he's going to do? Is he going to appoint someone very smart or is he going to appoint his friend to a job? His friend, are they going to be the most skilled? No. And we're going to see that the spoil system is eventually going to lead to the degradation of our government. What is he concerned about? Intelligence or loyalty? Loyalty. And that's why he uses this. He says, those people will die for me. I trust them more than I trust someone who's educated. Okay? The political center is moving away from the north, the east, and it's moving more west. And you'll have this on your PowerPoint, so you don't have to write everything down. Okay? Do we see this in the two pictures I showed you? The government of the snobs to the mobs. Yes, those elections from Washington to Jackson provide this. So Jackson, let's look at his characteristics, which should be question 10. His personality. He's a very violent man. What event did we see that he was very violent in? Florida campaign, he went a little bit overboard, $5 million in damages, right? Also, when they attacked Rachel, did he get upset? Okay, we're going to see he's also a duelist, just like Henry Clay was. Okay, he was very loyal to his wife, but what happened to Rachel? She died. He expected loyalty from his followers. We also see he was the first president since Washington not to be college educated. There's only one other president, which is Truman, who doesn't have a college education. We see he's a frontier aristocrat. Many people like Jackson because they can identify with him. They see that he was orphaned at a young age. He moved out west. He got an education. Eventually, he studied law and became a lawyer. Started working, built up a huge plantation. Does he have a rags to riches story? Yeah. Is that something that a common man can identify with? And that's why he's so popular. So do we have all of our characteristics for 10 now? So Jackson's presidency, which we're going to look more into. Y'all have this on your PowerPoint. His political views, he was suspicious of the government. What rights do you think he believes in? He's from the West and the South. Does he believe in the federal government or states' rights? That's why he's suspicious of the federal government. He believed in the union and national supremacy over the states. What? Is he being hypocritical now? Is he going to be a lot like Thomas Jefferson? Okay, we're going to see he ignored the Supreme Court. We're going to see this in 2 cases we'll talk about next week. He based his decision upon opinion and not law. So is he going to upset the Whig Party a lot? Yeah. We're going to see he used the veto 12 times, and many people call him King Andrew I. He used the spoil system extensively. Is he putting the best men in office, or is he putting his friends? Friends. And we're going to see corruption and buying of offices, and we're going to see a lot of scandal going on in his administration. I want us to look at this image right here. How are they portraying Andrew Jackson? As a king, but he was a common man, right? What do you think he's going to do to the power of the presidency when he comes in? He's going to abuse it. He's going to expand it. Do y'all see what's under his feet? You're going to see this image on your test. The Constitution, does he follow it? No. If he's acting like a king, do you think he's going to listen to Congress or the Supreme Court? No. We're going to get into his administration, and it's because he's going to have the Thomas Jefferson thing. He's going to say one thing and he's going to do what? Contradict himself. He believes in states' rights, right? Do you think he likes the bank? No. Do you think he likes tariffs? No. And we're going to see that his beliefs are going to come questionable when he's put in the executive branch. Okay. So I have taken you through 12, right? My goal is to take you through 13 and get you through some of these so that y'all don't have a lot of homework. Okay? So you should have a note set that says the tariff issue. Does everybody have that? And everything's written here for you. Yes, ma'am, go ahead. Okay, so what we're going to look at is Jackson is from where? The West. Should he like tariffs? No, because the tariffs only benefit what region? What's up here? Manufacturers, factories, right? And so the purpose of a tariff, it protects merchants from foreign competition. Because can our merchants make something as cheap and good as England? No. I think about like IKEA. Can anybody ever like sell less in price than IKEA? And their stuff's good, right? That's the same problem we're having here, is that the tariff is to protect. So let's think about this. It is to protect what area of America? The North. So who's upset with this tariff? The South and the West. So let's look at what's going on with this first tariff. 1860, 20%. 1824, 37%. 1828, 45%. What's happening to the tariff? It's going up. Do we like it when taxes go up? Because what happens to our pockets? Do we have more money or less money? Yes. Okay, so we know that tariffs impact us, right? And so this tariff, the negative effect is because what's going to happen to price? Price is going to go which way? That's the negative effect of a tariff, and I'm going to explain this. Okay, so Congress, and everything's written out here for you, Congress is going to pass a higher tariff on manufactured goods. What area does this benefit? The North, but also on raw materials needed to make those goods. Jackson supporters try to hurt Adams, because Adams, what area is he from? And do you think he wants the higher tariffs? He's from the North. Do they want higher tariffs? Yes. Yes. And if Adams says, yes, let's keep that higher tariff, what areas are going to hate Adams? West and South. And Jackson supporters did this. They said, if we put that tariff out there, Adams will support it, and will he win the next election? No. No. So Jackson supporters are trying to make Adams look bad. But it's going to backfire. Because Adams says yes, Congress says yes, and now it's passed. They purposely put a law out there that they were hoping not to pass, but it what? It passed. Now, they hate this because do they have to pay for it? Yes. Did they even want it to get past him? No, they just wanted him to look bad by endorsing it. So what we need to do is we need to understand the tariff a little bit more. When the economies of the North and the West and the South were expanding, the Old South began to decline. The soil in the southern states had worn out. That was the fertility, remember we saw that in one of the questions, was depleting, which meant they could not compete on equal terms with the new Gulf states. Southerners believed, not illogically, that the Yankee tariff discriminated against them because what's happening to prices? They're going up. What's happening to their farms? Are their farms producing as much as they once were? So the farms are declining, so what's happening to their profits? It's going down. And so they were like, this tariff, it's hurting us. They sold their cotton and other farm produce in a world market completely unprotected of tariffs. But they were forced to buy all of their goods in America that was heavily protected by tariffs. So do they get any benefits from tariffs? No, they just pay into them, right? So the plight of a Southerner may be illustrated in a hypothetical case. Suppose in 1828, an English manufacturer sold shoes in South Carolina, whereas a Massachusetts shoemaker paying higher wages would have to sell and charge $1.50 a pair for said shoes. Which shoes are you going to buy? $1.25. Why are you going to buy the foreign shoe? This is the English shoe. Why are y'all buying this shoe that is $1.25? It's cheaper. How much is the American-made shoe? So y'all are saying you are going to buy the cheaper shoe and not buy American. How unpatriotic of y'all. Why do y'all buy this $1.25 one? How much are you saving? Okay, so South Carolinas would naturally buy the British footwear. But if a tariff of 50 cents were levied, so who gets the tariff? The English one or the American one? English. So here's my tariff. How much does the English shoe now cost? So which shoe are you going to buy, the 175 or the 150? Are you upset? Why are you upset? You're going to buy this 150, so how much more are you paying? 25 more cents, because which one is now more expensive? And this is going to upset the Southerners. We're going to see, but if a tariff of 50 cents a pair were levied for a foreign shoe at the Charleston Custom House, the British shoe would now be $1.75. We're going to see the Massachusetts shoemaker, naturally people are going to buy his shoes, but he could raise his price to anything less than $1.75. Let's just say $1.74, and what are y'all now going to pay? How much has price just gone up for you from $1.25 to $1.74? 49 cents. Are you making that money? Who's making that money? The manufacturer where in America? In the North. So, the South Carolinians, do you think they're happy? So the South Carolinians would thus be forced to pay higher prices, while the profits of the Yankee manufacturer are consumerly fat, and he's getting 49 cents more. These artificial inflation of prices has always been the most objectionable features of high tariffs. So who loves the tariff? The North. Who hates the tariff? The South. The South. So why do they oppose the tariffs? Prices go up. They have to pay more. The other reason why, here's our second reason. If the South, they objected to the towering tariffs, higher prices meant that they're not buying from the British. It would reduce the volume of purchases in both directions. If Americans bought fewer English textiles, the British bought less Southern cotton. So prices are going up, but what's happening to the demand for their product? It's going down. Those are the two reasons they're objecting it. They said by protecting the New Englander, are we paying higher prices? Are we losing trade? Do they even like this tariff? No. And so this leads us to the second one. How did slavery issue relate to the tariff? If Congress can pass a tariff over their wishes, what could Congress possibly do? Take away slavery. Are they jumping to conclusions? But do they feel powerless at this time, and it makes them fear that? So, do you think the South is going to like this tariff? So what will happen is there's going to be one state, South Carolina. This takes us to question 16. There's John C. Calhoun, who's the vice president. He's going to be the leading opponent against the tariff. Whoa, he's the vice president. Shouldn't he be supporting this? We're going to see he will write an essay called the South Carolina Exposition. So 15 says, the South Carolina Exposition and Convention endorsed John C. Calhoun's pamphlet, known as the South Carolina Exposition. What exposition did it announce? Let's read it. Calhoun argued that each state was sovereign. Sovereign means power. The states have been sovereign under the Articles, and they had not given up their supreme authority when they joined the new union. Since the union had been created by the states and not vice versa, it followed the creator was more powerful than the creature, and then the national government was not supreme. They can only exercise those powers given to the states embodied by the Constitution. Calhoun therefore argued they had the right to cancel a national law if it was considered unconstitutional. So what law? What did it denounce? What do you think it's denouncing? They could say a law is unconstitutional. What national law do you think they're upset about?
The tariff.
That's what they denounce. So this one gives them the purpose to do what? Nullify. Have they created this idea on their own? Or was there another guy who had said this idea? Not John Adams. Thomas Jefferson. Okay. So they're going to meet. And I know we got 2 minutes, but let's do 16 so you have less. Okay, they're going to meet in Columbia. The South Carolina extremists, they put the theory of nullification into practice. They vigorously denounced the tariff of 1832 as unconstitutional, oppressive to the Southern people. In the fall of 1832, if the legislature called for a state convention to consider the tariffs, they met November 24th, and by a vote of 136 to 26, opted the ordinance of nullification on both tariffs. And they said February 1st, if the tariff duties were to be collected in South Carolina, the federal government would forcibly collect them, they would secede. So what two things did they decide? Are they paying the tariff? No, what's the other thing? If the government tried to collect it, they're going to do what? Leave the, isn't this the Civil War right here? This is a whole 30 years before it's happening. And they're coming up with the ideas that if they don't like a law and they don't want to follow it, they don't have to. They will just what? Secede. Do you think Jackson's going to let them do this? No. So you have 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 for homework. Okay?